What up, boys? Football is back. A2D, Birds of a Feather. Roll that footage. Let's go.
Well, I'm not even ready. Now,
I'm dying. That's my baby.
We're going at it at 110%.
I just want 5 minutes of happiness, please. Just give me 5 minutes.
And they scored! They did it!
Left, feet left.
What the hell was that?
Oh, yeah! What the fuck are you talking about?
you know what it is? I was so hyped about that Quez Watkins touchdown that it just threw me off, so I didn't have the intro ready. So my fault, ladies and gentlemen. But it is us, Birds of a Feather, live on A2D Radio. We're on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, Apple Podcasts, the whole nine, all over the internet. It's your boy Chucks here. Got Pete Evans to my, I don't know what side you guys see it on. I guess my left still over here. The opposite, whatever. And then below me, the return of Mr. Jeff Warner was good, bro.
What's going on, fellas?
What's good? Good to have you back. Guys, we are brought to you by our doc, Paul Vidal, Specialized Physical Therapy, LLC. Find them in Burlington and Cherry Hill. SpecializedPhysicalTherapy.com. Eagles football is back, even though it is the preseason. It is back. We've got the first game going on right now, and we're gonna give you live reactions from us. We'll be chatting up with you. We'll see what you guys think as we watch this game go on. But I'm excited. As I said at the top of the show, that Quez Watkins touchdown right before we went on. Oh man, speed. So we got a lot to talk about tonight. I'm definitely pumped. We are also going to talk about any other Eagles training camp updates that we got for you. All right. And speaking of that, our poll question for the night, which is brought to you by Manscaped. Manscaped. That's right. The Olympics, which just finished, guys, and the Euros. We've still got baseball going on, major championships, concerts all over. They're all happening this summer. Summer's not over yet. And you know what isn't? A wild and hairy bush. Tame your pubes with help from our friends at Manscaped, the leaders in below-the-waist grooming. Their fourth-generation performance package includes the brand-new Lawnmower 4.0. If an athlete treats their body like royalty, why not treat your pubes like Olympic gold? Fellas, do right by your balls and join the 2 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped by going to manscaped.com with the code A2D for 20% off and free shipping. And they are our sponsors, like I said, for our poll question. The overall performance of the Eagles offense in training camp so far is concerning. Agree or disagree. Let's dive right into that. Jeff, with you being back, your first night in a few weeks, let us know. Not including the performance of how they've done in the first quarter of this preseason game, would you say that the performance of the offense overall in training camp has been or is cause for concern?
No, look, it's not me. I was like, where's the feedback? Okay, there we go. Look, it's training camp. They we're under a new head coach. We have a new quarterback. We're going to have to work out the kinks. We have a week and a half of training camp that we have done so far. So I'm going to have to disagree with the poll right now. It's not time to jump off a bridge just yet. And look, it's practice. You're going to have to get those reps in. You're going to have to learn the new offense, learn the new defensive scheme. We have a bunch of new players in-house that are new to the team and are learning along with the rest of them. So, and remember, on offense, I know everyone's zoning on the offense. We're eyeing on Jalen Hurts. And, of course, ESP is giving his daily numbers of completions and yards and touchdowns for Jalen Hurts. And, look, some days he's good, some days he's bad. But I kind of feel you're going to have that with Jalen Hurts. We knew coming into this season that he needs developing. He needs time to learn the offense and get the reps that he needs as the new starter for this team. So, and remember, he's without possibly his number one weapon with Devontae Smith. So, if they start struggling once Devontae Smith is back in games and in camp, and they're not picking up the offense and they're not producing and they're not doing what they need to do, then it's time to cause for concern and jump off the Ben Franklin Bridge. But right now, after a week and a half, we have the game 1 of preseason. Chill.
Pete, agree or disagree?
I would have to, if we're talking about the offense as a whole, yes, because I would have to agree to the poll because at the biggest position, that's been the most inconsistent on the offense. I mean, we've seen and we've heard and we just saw it. Proof is in the pudding with Quez Watkins. And who threw him that ball? It wasn't Jalen Hurts. It was Joe Flacco. So, and the offensive line blocked and the wide receivers got good blocking downfield. So we've heard outside of Jalen Hurts that the offense has been pretty consistent, especially at the offensive line. So I have to agree to the poll because I feel like the quarterback position may be the only thing holding this team back from being considered to be a double-digit win team. So the consistency or lack thereof so far up through, 11, 12 days of camp so far, almost 2 weeks full of camp, that's concerning to me.
Okay, I'm going to disagree to the poll.
Okay.
But only because I kind of expected this. I think that I've said so many times on here already my thoughts on Jalen Hurts. All right, I have my question marks. I have my concerns when it comes to Jalen Hurts. I don't need to reiterate them. So when it comes to having a new system for these offensive players, and I know the defense, is new too, and I get that. But I think that the offense, because it's led by, there's a lot of question marks and uncertainty around the quarterback position. There's uncertainty about the youth at the wide receiver position too. That's where I go, this isn't surprising, and it's not to say that the team or the offense can or cannot get better during the season. I think that's what we're all hoping for. But I kind of expected that it isn't going to be an overnight thing. They're not going to come out of the gate, first preseason game or first week of training camp and be hitting on all cylinders. That's not realistic. So I think that the fact that they've been inconsistent, you've heard reports about Hurts being inconsistent, like he's made some good plays, made some bad plays. It doesn't surprise me, so I'm not concerned. I expected this and I anticipated this, and I think it's all part of the growing process. Remember, like a lot of times with offenses, especially new systems with new coaches, it takes a while for the offense to really get going. Even with the first year of Chip Kelly, right? We got off to a kind of a hot start, but toward the next few games up to mid-season, we were in a rut. Doug Peterson's first year, it got off to a hot start, but then it slowed down. We ended up being, I forget what the record was that year, 6-10 or something like that. But yeah, something along those lines. So I don't expect this offense to be hitting on all cylinders right out the gate. I expected them to struggle. So I do think the struggles that we hear and see and read about, early on so far in camp, they're somewhat legitimate. They're expected, but it's not concerning to me because I think that's what we should have expected all along, and I think that we need to be patient. And it's very possible that they start to get better as these weeks go on, and we see by the end of the season. I do expect the offense to be totally, drastically improved compared to what it is now. It's just not going to happen overnight.
Yeah, and you have to remember, look, Jalen Hurts, he's in 4 years between college and the pros, this is now his fourth different offense that he's running as a quarterback. So you're going to have those growing pains with Jalen Hurts, and like both you and I said, it's going to happen in training camp. And I'd rather have him get through those growing pains. Now in training camp than once the season starts or halfway through the year and continue to have those problems. So we both basically said the same thing, that look, it's kind of expected, and we expect hopefully that they pick things up and turn things around, and they turn things in the right direction with the offense. So that's why I disagreed with it, because don't get me wrong, like if this offense continues to have problems after the first quarter of the season or halfway through the season, then it's definitely time for concern. But after a week and a half, 2 weeks of training camp, let's see how they do in the preseason in live game action. Because remember, training camp right now, they're not live tackling every day. They're not going up against opponents though. So this coming week, when they have joint practices with the New England Patriots and do some scrimmaging and do some things with them, let's see what the reports are then. Granted, you're not going to see the full offense, and they're not going to game plan in practice, but then let's see what happens, and then let's see if we have cause for concern yet.
Sorry about that, guys. I was doing a lot of fidgeting with my mic cord, so
No, it's all good.
Oh, good.
I have to poke holes real quick into what you guys are saying, and let's not poke holes, but let me just reiterate why I agreed to the poll. I agreed to the poll because the weaknesses of Jalen Hurts are still being exacerbated. Everything you two said is true. Is ultimately true. New system, 4th year, new system for him, new coaches, everybody get acclimated. But with that being said, it's not like Jalen Hurts has ever been the epitome of consistency, right? And that's why that's the reason why I'm coming from why I'm saying what I am. It's because his weaknesses, we're going to get to a point in this season where I think that his weaknesses, or he is going to be the one that's actually holding the offense back. I hope I'm wrong. But I can truly see that, to where every other facet of the offense was or is doing well except for him. Now, I've already started to see the hypocrisy in the fan base compared to last year, where everybody in the world is give Hurts a chance, give Hurts a chance, give Hurts a chance, give Hurts a chance. Seeing these inconsistent throws. Where last year, what were we hearing out of the training camp about Carson Wentz? It was get rid of him. He's washed. It was all his fault. But now we and deservedly so. He's out of here now. I just want to make sure that the fan has that same type of energy week 5 or week 6 of this year. That's all I'm saying. Is that fair? Is that too much to ask?
No, I don't think it's too much to ask. And remember, like I am in the middle. I'm a lot like you when it comes to Hurts. I'm not a believer so much in terms of he still hasn't proven to me to change my mind about how I felt about him coming into the draft. There's nothing I've seen that has made me alter my evaluation of him, and I think that's fair. And I see stuff. I see people on Twitter, and they're like, you see comments like, "Oh, I don't think it's fair to put a cap on Jalen Hurts' ceiling."
Right.
I think why? Why is it not fair? Like, I haven't seen anything from a physical ability standpoint to make me believe he's elite. So why is that unfair? Because you think that he works hard and is a great leader, so therefore, like, the sky's the limit. Tim Tebow was a great leader and worked hard. It doesn't always look like Jalen Mills was a great leader and worked hard.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean anything. And so with Hurts, I want him to be the next Russell Wilson. I want him to be the next Dak Prescott. I do. I want it, but it doesn't mean that I'm going to sit here and tell you, oh, it's going to happen. I have my concerns, and until he proves me wrong, I don't see any reason to disagree or go back on
Right,
it.
right, and that's where we said we're talking about one part out of 11, one out of
Yep.
11, but that one carries more weight than everybody else. Now I see TA says that Jalen looked comfortable tonight. He did. I mean, his best pass I would say was probably his second pass. I think he hit Ertz for a big gain, and then the drive, like right after that, the drive stalled. But that he hit Ertz in stride. But that's to a tight end. Now it does kind of concern me a little bit. Outside of Watkins, that was still a design wide receiver screen. I haven't really seen anything so far up until this point where the wide receivers have just beaten or gotten open. Everything has still been a lot to the tight ends. And I know you don't want to show your hand too much in the preseason, especially game 1. But would you like to see him win on the outside? Yeah, I mean, we would like to see that. I mean, Deontay Johnson beat Michael Jacquet. Yes, Michael Jacquet, but you saw that happen.
Deontay Johnson beats a lot of people.
Yeah, he does. Don't get me wrong, he does.
Oh, yeah.
I like what I see out of the defense so far. I like what I see out of the linebacker so far. The big runs, Najee looked good for Pittsburgh, but there was a couple holes, and I'm glad, I'm cool with that. You know what I mean? So, really, Daly, that happened during the game.
It happened just before we went on, yeah. Joe Schobert
that's the linebacker, correct?
Yeah.
From Jacksonville. Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
So that's a nice.
Luckily, he's not playing tonight.
Yeah, that's a nice pickup for them.
It's a decent pickup.
Because he was recently he just signed a deal with Jacksonville because he came out of Cleveland, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
He was a free agent for Jacksonville last year. So
I guess he doesn't fit into what the new coaches want.
Oh man.
So,
but I just want to. How do you feel?
But before you get to that, I want to get into some comments because I know the chat's flying. So thank you guys for chiming in real quick. And Matt Zadzinski, sorry if I butchered that. He asked if Miles played today. No, he did not. I do not know why. If I find out anything on Twitter, I will say it. If any of us or anyone in the chat, anyone finds out why Miles didn't get any playing time today, say so. Maybe they just didn't want to risk injury to him in the preseason. That's what my guess would be.
Has he even had like a nagging injury throughout camp or something like that? That they've been like limiting his snap count.
Not that I've heard. Okay. I've heard he's completely healthy and doing well in camp. Aside from having some drops here and there, but
he's fine.
If you remember the first 2 years of his career, he's had injuries in camp.
Yeah.
So maybe they just don't want to risk that happening 3 years in a row. So maybe that's why they're resting him. Bobby Eagle says Quez got some wheels. Exactly. The guy can fly. Oh my God, he can.
He shot his second touchdown tonight. If Hurts didn't overthrow him a little bit and on that one deep route, he got a second touchdown tonight.
Oh my God.
He's having a heck of a camp and a heck of a first.
Yes. I'm so excited about Quez. So excited to see him develop, and we'll talk more about him in a bit. Bill Middlebrook says, "Good to see you, Jeff. Hope all is well, buddy. Watkins to the house. Fly Eagles fly." Wolf Crew Great Gaming says Watkins toasted him. Exactly. A lot of Quez Watkins love. Quez is nice. We've got a Charles Moran saying Quez Watkins is better than Jalen Reagor. Smart guy right there.
Did you just refer to yourself in the third person? Wow.
That's Charles. I'm Chuck, so I don't know what you guys are talking about. But, Michael O'Donnell says, having a problem, can't get the game on NFL Network. I don't have cable other access. I don't think they're showing it. If you're local, I don't think they're showing it on NFL Network here. I think you have to be out of the market. It's weird how they
replay it tonight or something. There's another game on tonight, I think, that they're showing. So if you can watch the replay sometime either tonight or tomorrow whenever the NFL Network's replaying it.
Yeah. Jesse Davis says, Moon Williams is the beast. Yes. I know he's had a couple of pressures so far, so it's a good sign. Moon Williams is looking like he could possibly be a contributor this year. Some bad news, Brodo says. Zach McPherson Go into the locker room.
He was one of my players to watch too, man.
He was like near the top of players to keep an eye on. So that's really, really bad. Hopefully it's nothing serious. We're praying. Bill Middlebrook said,
people up out there. Yep.
it's comical to hear people say they will win 4 or 5 games. There's no reason this team can't win 9 or 10 and make the playoffs. I, for one, believe a lot of people will be surprised this year. I don't look, Bill. Like I love the optimism, but like it's a transition year. And tell me if you guys agree. Like it's a year where we don't know a lot of things, you know?
Right.
And we could win 10, 11 games. I wouldn't be surprised. We could win 2, 3, or 4, and I wouldn't be surprised. I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you agree or disagree to Bill's comment?
Like I said, I've been saying this since the end of the season, back in January. I was saying I have no expectations for this year. Chucks can attest to that, or Charles can attest to that. That's been my thing. And some people will say, well, you say that now because you just don't want to hype yourself up and don't want to set yourself up for a heartache. No, it's not that. It's because, once again, I know who's at the helm. I mean, this kid has to show me that he has it. This is the prime example of people in Philly and this fan base in this area. They see Jalen Hurts and they see his work ethic, and they see that they think that's automatically going to equate to success. Listen, you can be the best one in the world. You know what I mean? You could try your ass off. If you got talent and you can just show up and roll out of bed, people right now, 10 years ago, across the street at CBP from the Link, fans used to sit there and kill Jimmy Rollins for not running to first base. I'm not saying he was as good as Chase Utley, and I'm not saying Chase Utley was any better than Jimmy Rollins, but there was a lot more 26 jerseys in them stands than it was 11, because the way he played the game and how he hustled. And when you see Jalen Hurts, he makes people who may be on the fence a believer because of his work ethic. But I'm just sitting here saying, like, listen, there's somebody out there who busted their ass to finish it. Everybody, the Olympics just ended, right? The Olympics just ended. I bet you the person in 10th place, whatever country she came from, she was the best from her fucking country. Or the best from their country. Guess what? When they get stacked up to the rest of the world, you get 10th. Here you go. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
there's the way of the world. That's just the way of the world. You know what I mean? And once again, me and Chucks, we've been sitting here saying, we want the easiest route for this team to get back to success is for Jalen Hurts to surprise the world. That's the easiest and quickest way, because if you're confident that Jalen Hurts can show you that he can be the man, that means you have what looks like maybe 3 picks in the first round next year, and a QB year that there's really not a stud QB coming out, that you can sit there and just load up on talent and replenish this team at many positions. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
That's what you need.
Yep. Exactly. I mean, I don't know how many more times we said it and touched on it like so many times during this offseason, and it remains like I don't know how many other times or how many other ways we can say it. I want Jalen Hurts to be great. I do. I want him to be great. But just because I want him to be great, and just because he whenever he talks, he makes me want to run through a wall, it doesn't mean he's going to be great. It doesn't. And I'm trying my best to be a realist, you know, and some people take that as hating or being negative. I just think that, again, I don't know what my expectations are, or I don't know what. I wouldn't be surprised either way. I wouldn't be surprised if you win 4 games. I wouldn't be surprised if we win 11.
And that's the thing. No one really knows. Like, look, diehard Eagles fans, of course, you're going to want to root for them. You still want them to win, but like Chuck said, you have to be realistic with your expectations, especially when we're in a rebuild mode. You don't know what you have with Jalen Hurts. You don't know how Nick Sirianni. Those are the 2 X factors for this franchise. I know that's easier said than done, and it's a little bit of a scapegoat to go into this season, but those are the two key factors that are going to make or break this franchise this year and for the future, unfortunately, because if Jalen Hurts doesn't pan out, then we have to start looking for a new quarterback. If after 2 or 3 seasons, Nick Sirianni doesn't seem like he's the guy, then we're looking for a new head coach, and we're doing this whole process all over again. So it's one of those things where I understand why the national media is down on us as much as they are, because there's too many unknowns, especially at the two biggest points on your team, the head coach and the quarterback, which I know it's only preseason. You can't overhype preseason, but I already love Sirianni's game planning in this game so far. The fact that he's backed on the 2-yard line and back-to-back plays, he goes for a passing out of his own end zone instead of playing it safe and being conservative and just taking the 3 and out and kicking the ball as a matter of field position. The fact that he has the faith in Jalen Hurts and his first-team offense to try to move the football from his own 2-yard line, it shows what type of coach he is. He shows that he's being aggressive. He's not going to play it safe. Granted, that could win you games, that can lose you games. It's gonna be interesting to see what happens throughout the season. But we always complained about how Andy Reid all those years, and even Doug Peterson at times, they somewhat played it safe when it came to those certain situations. And I'm happy we have a new head coach here that's not going to play it safe in key situations, hopefully, when it can matter of winning us or losing us a football game.
Well said, Jeff.
Yeah, very well said. There was a comment here. Hold on one second. Wolf Crew Gaming says, I've noticed this defense looks more aggressive. They are ripping at the ball on every tackle. I know that was a point of emphasis at the practices of getting turnovers, and on defense being aggressive, punching the ball. So good job picking that up. I'm very excited about what this defense can do because we talked about the struggles of the offense, but I do think that the defense is going to be solid. I think that when we talked about it when we did our all NFC East team, we were talking about the defense and how they don't have any superstars, but because of the system and the defensive coordinator, they could be like a solid defense,
right?
That plays well together. So I do have, even though I don't know what to expect on offense, on defense, I guess you can say my expectations are a little higher because I do think the system's going to.
You think that's the better side of the ball?
What was that?
Do you think that's the better side of the ball?
I do think so in terms of coaching.
Okay.
I don't and that's because how can I explain this? I believe that Gannon's going to have an easier time getting the pieces and players that we have now to play together well and cohesively. Then it's going to be easier for him to do that than Sirianni getting the offense to click. Okay. And I'm not saying that the offense can't be great. I'm saying that it's going to take a while, like I said at the top of the show. So I do have a better – I'll put it this way. I think the floor for the defense is higher. I think the ceiling for the defense is lower. Right. Whereas on the flip side, I think the offense, their floor is lower, but if the offense can pick it up and click, I think the ceiling for the offense is higher. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think, because I don't think we have any star players on defense outside of Cox, but we've got a bunch of solid players, and I think the scheme is going to be really, really good. So, I mean, do you guys and those in the chat listening while you're watching, thank you for tuning in. Again, keep the comments coming. We love it, and we'll continue to say. Edward Taylor says, just wanted to see new coaches and players to progress each week. So far, so good. Yeah, so far, so good, and you want to keep seeing that. So keep those comments coming. I want to get your gentleman's opinion on what you've seen so far. We're almost at halftime. Mm-hmm. What has stood out to you so far in terms of this game? We talked about training camp so far now. What has stood out to you about this game on either side of the ball? We already talked about Quez Watkins. We know about him. Outside of him, what are your impressions? If you have any.
Come back to me because I have to put something together.
I'll say, granted, once again, preseason, you don't want to overhype positively or negatively, but you still want to evaluate and see what you have with your football team, especially a young, unproven football team that we do not know a lot about right now. And right now, it's only been almost 2 quarters, but I can take a little breath of. I can be calm a little bit. Like, look, going into the season, we're a little anxious. We're still trying to figure out what we have. We don't know what we have, and I'm seeing a little bit of positives from what we saw last season. Look, Javon Hargrave. But he had a solid second half of the season last year. He's picking up right where he left off last year, getting pressure in the middle of that front four right there. Jalen Hurts, look. He's looked decent for the 2 series that he was in, and this was the defense that I'm glad we played in his first game to start the preseason. Look, this is a Steelers defense. They do not let off because it's preseason. They're blitzing consistently. There's a lot of different blitz packages, and you saw Jalen Hurts in there for the most part, standing there, going through his progressions a little bit, finding the mismatches, finding the open weapons for the most part. A couple of his passes, I know his stats don't look good, 3 of 7 for 50-something yards, but some of those were some drop passes that should have been caught. Or the deep bomb that was a little bit of a miscommunication with him and Quez Watkins a little bit, where he overthrew it a little bit. But overall, he's been playing well. And look, Alex Singleton, I know we're talking trash about this linebacking core, but Eric Wilson busts right through the middle of that A gap. If Derek Barnett didn't miss a freaking tackle, should have been a tackle for a loss because of Eric Wilson solidifying that hole. And then Alex Singleton as well, and on that one stretch play, he came completely across the field. That was a guy that last year he led the team in tackles, and he's coming back strong in the start of the preseason so far. So I'm a little bit more optimistic that I'm not saying we're a playoff team or anything like that, but I feel like this team is building in the right direction, and if they can build some confidence and build some and build together, they can get on a roll. So I understand it's one preseason game, but I'm a little bit more optimistic than I was a week ago. The fact that we're seeing some game action from some of these guys.
Yeah.
So for me, one of the key things is attention to detail. No penalties so far yet on either side of the ball. So I'm not sure if it's better discipline, but it just seems like guys are more locked in so far, even though if it is preseason, game 1. One thing that did kind of concern me, and I don't hate to nitpick on Hurts, but I think it may have been the first series or the second series he threw it out, and it's like it was low and behind. I think it was to Rager.
Yeah, it was to Rager.
Yeah, it just looked like it took forever to get there. When you see Joe Flacco throw it out, even at close to 40 years old, it's just different. It gets there quicker. So things like that concern me. I don't know what the game plan is. It's hard to get a feel for what Sirianni wanted to do in this game. A lot of it was to the tight ends, not really a lot to the outside. Jeff talked. He's brought it up a couple times tonight so far regarding the deep connection missed to Quez Watkins. I mean, right now, so for the shining light is Quez. The shining light is Quez, and the defense I feel like is going to be more of what we look like, what we would want out of our defense. Just having a little bit of an edge to it. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then and Milton Williams, like you said, some of these guys that when we were scratching our head on draft day or during the draft, starting to show fruit. You know what I mean? Starting to bear fruit, I should say. And then I seen one comment earlier. I think you actually put it up where we talk about the players and this how they have that skill level, and then when they're drafted, they talk about their attributes and their benefits. And then with Doug Peterson, we never saw that player reach their peak. We never saw that player tap into that potential. Where it looks like right now, just through this training camp with Quez Watkins, we've seen Quez get better. Whether that's on his own, but maybe in training camp as well, he's getting coached up. Hasn't panned out with Rager yet, but maybe when we see it, you know what I mean? Yeah, it can happen. We got, and also McPherson is back out there.
Yeah, I was about to say that. McPherson is back out there. That's good. Yeah, you definitely want to see that. I haven't been paying too much attention to I I think that's a penalty on McPherson.
Yep.
It is.
Remember, I'm delayed. My apologies, guys. I'm delayed because I'm watching it on stream.
He's had
So
bootleg
my
Wi-Fi.
bad. If I say something or react to something and it's late, but I'm okay with it. Like, he's got to learn. McPherson's been one of the top people in camp, but he's now under the lights, and he's got to learn these things. He's a rookie, and I've said it before. Now with Steven Nelson on the team, I don't have. I'm in no rush to get McPherson to play. All right, if the expectation for McPherson is that he can eventually be an outside guy, bring him along at his own pace. Let him learn. He's a rookie. You don't need to force him in there. That's why it was so good to get Steven Nelson in. For me, I owe. It's looking like I owe an apology to Jordan Howard, because we've been saying about or we've been hearing from camp so far from people is that he looks like he is healthier now, and he's in great shape, and he has been running the ball really, really well. And so I did not expect that. I thought that based on last year, he was done, and he was a shell of himself physically. But if he is back to being really 100% healthy, and he's physically better than he was last year and performing well, I'd gladly take that. And so I do owe him an apology if he does end up making the team, which it looks like he will be. And I certainly do hope that he is going to be able to be that complement to Sanders that we saw, what was it, 2 years ago? Sanders' rookie year? How they complemented each other so well, Sanders being the lightning to Howard's thunder. So I love that. And my favorite part of this game so far was that block he had on the blitz pickup in the first series. That's what I love. That I absolutely love that stuff. As a running back guy, I love these guys making good runs and everything, making good plays in the passing game. But I also love to see great pass protection, and we all know Jordan Howard is a really good pass protector.
Yeah.
So that was that was my favorite play of the game, outside of Quez's touchdown. So I apologize to Howard, and I want to keep seeing these running backs, because I think that's one of the things that we're talking about here, or things that we're going to be focusing on a lot, not only this game, but for the next few games and all throughout the preseason and training camp going into this season, is who's going to earn the spot as on the running back depth chart behind Miles. Who's going to be getting reps? Because we know that Kenny Gainwell is going to make the team, but he is also a rookie. So is he ready to take over that Hines role? So if he's not, is Boston Scott going to make the team? Because he's been doing well as a pass catcher. So is he going to make the team under the pretense of he's going to fill in that Hines role until Gainwell's ready? And then if so, does that mean that Howard makes the team and then Kerryon gets cut?
Right.
So what do you guys think so far based on what you've heard, what you've seen so far? Who do you believe, or how do you see this running back room shaping up?
I think Howard's definitely going to be here. I don't know about through one game is difficult, but based on what we're hearing out of camp, I think Howard probably is a lock. Sanders, is a lock.
Yep.
Do they carry 4?
I think chances are 4. I think it's either 3 or 4. It's not 5. It's definitely not 5.
Your boy you'll see it. Your boy got open for a slant just now out of the backfield.
Spoiler alert.
He's watching a live stream, so I can't. Oh, he stumbled a little bit.
Hey,
But good job fighting through contact.
Yeah.
You know, you want to see him not stumble on that angle route.
Right.
The angle route's one of my favorite routes, by the way. When I was playing Madden, when I started playing Madden years ago, there's a tangent, but after 2K5 ended, and I had to switch back to Madden. One of the Westbrook was still on the Eagles and everything, but one of the most unstoppable plays was that angle route you ran in Westbrook. You had Westbrook running that angle route out of the backfield when he's one-on-one with the linebacker, and it was almost unstoppable because he was so quick. And so that's become one of my favorite plays is the angle route. So on that play, you want to see Gainwell not stumble, obviously,
Right.
but he did a good job after catching the ball, fighting through contact to get extra yards. Because remember, he's not a big guy. So seeing him fight through contact is a good thing. You want to see that. Who made that catch? Tyree Jackson.
Yeah.
80.
He's going to be the sleeper that you can possibly look at.
Ooh. I want to get into tight ends in a bit too. But Pete, what were you saying? Finish your thought. I want to get to some of the chat after.
About
what you were-
Gainwell?
We were talking about the running backs.
Yeah, we're talking about the running backs.
No. Okay. So with I was saying, do they carry forward? You know what I mean? Do they carry forward? I feel like Gainwell's a lock to make the team. I mean, you don't invest that pick.
Yeah.
So then if it becomes between Scott and Kerryon Johnson, it's a casualty.
Yeah.
And right now, is Kerryon hurt or something? Because he's right now, based off of the production and reps so far this game, I'll say Howard got opening reps. Then Boston Scott behind him. Now it's Gainwell. So
Yeah.
So
I think Kerryon got a couple carries. I think the drive before.
did he?
But from what I've heard, he's been like behind all of them.
Yeah.
So right now it's kind of looking, yeah.
So obviously, maybe they feel that I don't know what the contract situation is or things like that. But obviously, they might feel they might get better production from some of these other guys at a cheaper option than what they signed Kerryon for. The fact that he's not getting a lot of reps in practice, he's not getting much playing time here behind a lot of these guys. Honestly, yeah, pretty much like what Pete said. Miles is a lock. The fact that Jordan Howard's getting first-team reps right now the way he is, and he's been impressive in camp for the most part, and he brings you that change of pace back, and he's like he showed tonight, he's a solid blocking running back, which we don't know with Sirianni's offense, but he possibly might need from some of these packages that we saw from tonight. So it's basically going to come down to Boston Scott and Kerryon, because no way in hell they risk putting Gainwell on the practice squad because he's getting scooped up right away.
Oh, yeah, he'll get scooped up. Yeah.
And to Bill Motorbrook's point, Flacco does look good. I don't listen, man.
He's throwing some nice balls right now.
The dude,
He's Flacco.
He has an arm, bro. Like it's
Quarterback controversy.
No, I won't say obviously not a controversy, but I mean he looks, and that's the other thing with Flacco. People forget, like he was not healthy.
No.
He was not healthy the past 2 years. He was not healthy at all. See, like he looks like he's healthier. So I mean, obviously, if I have my druthers to start Hurts over Flacco, start Hurts over Flacco, because once you can't. It's hard to go from Flacco starting to go back to Hurts.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's hard to start off with the young guy, then go to the backup.
Yep.
So just get ready, man. This is my sleeper for the backup. The second half is my sleeper.
Hometown hero, right?
I want to see what Nick Mullins does, man. I want to see how good Nick Mullins looks tonight.
I've heard Nick Mullins looks pretty good in camp.
Yes.
So, yeah, we'll see.
But I'll say just real quick, I know we were praising or giving our thoughts on so far the game, but we have to give a lot of credit to Jake Elliott right now. So I understand it's one game, but after his career low last year, not knowing if he was going to be this our kicker going to this season, he obviously mentally he's all there. He has the confidence level. The fact that he drilled 2 47-yard field goals and now just drilled another long field goal. I don't know how long it was.
That was
but
50
yards. Yeah, look. We finally have the Jake Elliott hopefully back of old from that Super Bowl season. He looks like he has mentally he's there, and that's going to become a key part for this season, winning and losing football games. So I'm happy that he's back.
Let's hope so. some of these comments, let's see. So Kyle O'Brien, it's funny because he asked this, and it's pretty much what my comment was. Quez will have a better career than Rager. Agree or disagree? It's so early to determine, but I am not giving up on Rager. I still think he has a lot of potential. But, man, the things that we hear about Quez, it's very, 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 very exciting to watch this guy. Because this guy, if you watched him in college, he flashed so much good ability, especially as a deep threat. And as, just run after the catch. He has such good physical ability to be a good wide receiver in this league. It was about his character and just making dumb mistakes, being just raw. But if he can piece this stuff together, man, it's exciting. So, I don't know. I don't know if you guys want to answer that, but I'm excited about both of them. Okay, I guess not.
Well, I know V was going first. I'm just happy we're getting production from some of the guys that we're not sure we're going to make this team, and because I know there's talk going into camp whether it's going to be Quez or Hightower or some of these other guys. So the fact that we have so much unproven players at the wide receiving position, it's happy to know that look, we're finally getting production from these guys, and hopefully that we find something where we have that gem with these guys. Because look, we invested wide receiving way too much the last 2 drafts for us not to have anything to show for it. So hopefully Devontae gets back healthy and shows that he's the superstar that he is. Rager, hopefully he can bounce back from a subpar rookie campaign. And Quez or Hightower, if both of them make the team, they can be good contributors for this offense. Because that's the one position going into this year that we were definitely considering that we had the lack of depth at, and a lot of unknowns. So it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out with the wide receiving core, and some of these guys hopefully continue to contribute.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm right along the same lines. I'm still holding out hopes for Rager. I'm not jumping both feet in with Quez Watkins right now. I like the fact that he's learning the position and learning how to use his attributes within the position from his route running and being able to adjust his different levels of the speed. So it looks like he's figuring out the position a little bit better, and he's being put in better positions to succeed. To where, Rager, we talked about it. That ball he had thrown to him by Hurts on the out was underthrown. That key block was so good on that wide receiver screen for Watkins. I'm not saying that Rager would have took it to the house, but it definitely would have been a big gain. You know what I mean? So it's different. And the team even looks at it like this. They're not looking at Rager and Watkins as the same guy. These guys are not running the same routes. They're not in the same play concepts and had the same role in the same play packages. But he still give him time. I mean, you have invested a lot. You have invested a lot into the wide receiver position. You went from being old as shit to being newborn young. You feel what I'm saying when it comes to the position. So you got to give it time, and it's going to be some growing pains. It's hard for me to sit here and say that Quez will just have a better career than Rager based off of what we've seen so far.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah, I'm excited about both. I'll keep it at that. Bill says this. So to follow up on his thing, he was talking about arguing that saying 4 or 5 wins is silly. He says, question for you guys: how many games did you think we'd win last year? I was at 12, maybe 13. After you answer that, then my question is, who did we lose? And also look at who we signed and drafted and explain and help me honestly think why everyone has such a low expectation. Doesn't the team look as good, if not better, or am I just – I don't know what do you mean by that emoji. You're being really, really optimistic, Bill, because I predicted 10 wins last year. All right. And yeah, we had a lot of injuries and we upgraded some spots here. So, if we can stay healthy, sure. I think we can have a good season. But you're also missing the fact or ignoring the fact that when we made those expectations, we expected Wentz to be a top 10 quarterback in this league. We to pick up where he left off in 2019 before he got hurt in the playoffs and be great. And we didn't get that. So right now, if we are, like we said the whole show, if we're saying that we want to believe in Hurts, but we're not completely sold yet, then why is it unreasonable to not have, to predict as many wins? And then you're also putting in a new coach that we don't know much about yet in terms of in-season coaching and how good he's going to be. We love what we hear. We love what we see. And his energy is awesome, but we don't really know yet. He could be really bad. He really, really could be. And then again, we don't know about injuries. We say every year, ever since the Super Bowl year, oh, this year will be different with injuries. And it hasn't been yet.
Right.
Oh.
You're being optimistic, and by all means, if you want to be optimistic, go be optimistic. But you can't say it's silly to say, hey, we could win 4 or 5 games this year. It's not silly. It's just we don't know. We just don't know.
Remember, this was a 4-11-1 football team a year ago, and granted, we did make some key acquisitions to improve some spots, like Anthony Harris or Steven Nelson or Eric Wilson on the defense side of the ball. You got Devontae Smith, but we don't know if these picks are gonna or these pickups are gonna pan out. So there's. And, of course, this team rides or dies with Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni. That tandem together, this team can only go as far as those two can take it, unfortunately. So it's not really out of the realm of possibility why some people are having us as the 5th or 4th worst team in the NFL. Now, the ceiling could be higher. It's a lot of potential if those two pan out. And they can take us far because we do have some pieces in place on both sides of the football. Our offensive line is arguably probably one of the best in the divisions when healthy. The best tight end duo if Zach Ertz continues to be on this football team throughout the year. The defense side of football, our front four is one of the most dominant forces in all of the NFL. So we definitely have some keys, some pieces in place, but just a lot of uncertainty, unfortunately, Bill. Going into this year. So that's why a lot of people are being a little conservative when it comes to this football team. Granted, we're in a bad division, and there's a lot of unknowns with our division, whether Dak's going to come back to the all-pro form that we saw him. Is Ryan Fitzpatrick that much of an upgrade in that defense with Washington? Can they live up to what they played last year? The Giants, is Daniel Jones the answer for them? Joe Judge the guy for them as the head coach? And how Saquon Barkley is going to come back? So we're in a bad division, so we might be able to win a couple more games possibly, but our schedule's kind of tough. When you look up and down the schedule, there's no easy cupcakes for the most part on this team or on this schedule this season.
Not on paper, at least. Not on paper, at least. And that's what I think people think that we're a last place team, so we get a last place schedule. Like, look, man, for the millionth time, like, is this team improved, more balanced than what it was last year? Yes. But the way that you do that is you identify the weaknesses that you had the year before, which you thought you had strengths. Mm-hmm. So in order to have a bounce back year, you had to have a shitty year before. So we got to temper that in coming into it right from the rip. Yeah, you're going to do better because last year you did like shit. You feel what I'm saying? But I say this, like, listen, this team went into the offseason still wanting to bring Carson Wentz back as a quarterback. He ultimately decided and forced their hand and said, look, this is not going to work. The relationship is over with. They even got rid of the coach that won him the Super Bowl, and he still didn't want to come back. So the plan was not for Jalen Hurts to be the starting quarterback. You feel what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
He
wasn't even drafted to be the starting quarterback.
Right, and then let's call a spade, bro. If the NFL right now came out and said, "Old boy out of Houston is off the hook," and he ain't gonna miss no time, which where would he be at?
Yeah.
Where would he be at? If Russell Wilson really said I want it out, if Aaron Rodgers really said I want it out, there's no other team that has a potential 3 first-round picks. Nobody else.
Yep.
Nope.
And the Eagles have had numerous opportunities to sit here and say we're committed solely to Jalen Hurts. We're committed solely to Jalen Hurts from now in the future. Now they have not done that, not once. They have not refuted reports that they are looking at potentially upgrading the QB position. You know what I mean? So I'm just saying what it is. It's hard to have an outlook on the season and be positive to where the people who actually run the organization may not be behind their guy 100%.
Yeah.
And if we all know how this works with this organization, you had a guy for 2 years who we thought was going to be a top 5 QB talent in this league, and they were still hot and cold on him. Now, can Jalen Hurts ultimately win them over? I have way more faith in him winning them over and me over more than what Wentz would, because Wentz just felt like he couldn't get out of his own way. He was already that alpha male. This is how he wanted it. He didn't want to work for it. He didn't put the time in. I don't think you're going to have that with Jalen Hurts. DB, I just saw it. That's crazy. I just saw that video. Literally.
Yeah,
That was crazy. I mean, he was fat. He was quick too. He got in there.
Yeah.
He got in that pool quick.
Yeah.
But I just don't know. It's like I feel so indifferent, man. It's probably going. It depends. It depends, Jay. It depends, Jason. It depends. I mean, listen, real quick before we get out there and talk about some more next topics here. The A2D membership is out there, man. $9.99 on YouTube. If you're watching this on YouTube, not only click that subscribe, click that join. It's $10 a month. I'm telling you, Moss Money Nate, Willie Vegas, you get your picks in for the first week. You'll probably win your membership back in a couple picks. The picks be hitting. I done kept my lights on literally with their picks. Literally paid my electric bill this month with their picks. No bullshit. So, and plus you get other perks, man. You get to see us. You already know all the sponsors we have here. Specialized Physical Therapy, Sunrise Detox, Alan Foy, EXP Realty, Body Check Wellness. Check them out. A2D promo codes pretty much anywhere. I forget the discounts range. They range from like 10, 25, some 30, 40%. Free shipping too. We already talked about Manscaped. So listen, this is a spot you want to be at. Any type of thing you can find, we got it. We're here. All nationalities on here. You got the I think you're Filipino, right? Chucks, am I not mistaken?
Yes, I am.
You know, I'm just a mix of everything, dude. Like Evans is a surname. I'm Indian. I'm black. I'm Italian. It just doesn't matter. Jeff, you are. What nationality are you? What ethnicity, I should say?
Yeah.
I'm a shitload of crap. German, Welsh, Italian. I don't freaking know. I'm pretty much like everything in Europe, pretty much.
So
you're Europe.
Yeah, I'm pretty much Europe.
Hey, on A2D, man, you pretty much have it all, and we ride or die with our teams. But we legit with it though, man. Like and not everybody's going to see them the same way. Like I don't know, but honestly, I think it's more the consensus on every show on the platform. I don't know any personality that's on the platform that is like super, super high on Hurts. Is there?
Running through guys. I don't think so. I think the most optimistic any of us are that I think Tom says right here, I believe Hurts is going to have a good year. Just a feeling. I think that's like the most optimistic take that any of us have. I think that's what it is. Yeah. And Keys says, thanks for what you guys do. I'm already a member, so I got a dono. Thank you so much, Keys. Appreciate it so much. You have no idea. But pretty much, yeah, I mean, like we're all kind of tempered, and does some of it have to do and you know, Bill does says, I get it, guys. Wentz Hurts debate and new coaches. Thanks for the response. You guys are the best. And we do appreciate it. And like I said, I love the optimism. I wish I could be optimistic like that, but I think part of it does have to do with the fact that we've been snake bitten really bad, and last year was really bad. Our Super Bowl winning head coach was fired because of how bad it was last year.
I think he wanted to go.
Well, regardless of the circumstances and what the context behind it, the fact that he was fired. That's the fact. He's gone. He's out of here.
You ever
Whether he
seen?
wanted to go or not, he was gone. He's gone. He's
Yeah,
not
could you
getting
just imagine that conversation? Jeff is put like, Doug, this is the list. This is Jeff. That's the list. Doug, is this really the list?
sure. Are you
Yeah,
sure?
yeah. Are you positive? Is this the? Yes. This is. Oh God. Jeff's probably like. Beat. You know how red Jeff get too in Florida. That bitch probably red as hell.
Yeah.
Like, you leave me no choice. And that bitch probably got up so fast and left and was in back Louisiana before dinner time, bitch.
And then Doug afterwards is probably like, "Oh, peace, I'm out of here." Like, thank God, I'm done
Thank
with
God.
this. I'm done with that dweeb Howie telling me how to do my job. Bobby Eagle says, "I really want to see more Kenny G. We've thrown the ball a lot more than I thought we would have." I do too. I want to see him and how he does. I saw some good things, and I'm just peeking over. While we do this, but I saw some good. I saw some bad. The one thing that stands out to me right now is that, and I hate saying this, but he's slower than anticipated, and he never had great top speed. So I'm not even gonna act like I'm surprised, but I do want, because he's a light dude. He's 190, 195,
Yeah.
or 200.
He looks like a wide receiver, legit.
Yeah, he legit, like, he's not a thick guy. He has enough. I think I described his build when I did my evaluation as he has a lean athletic build. So he's not skinny. He doesn't look weak, but his build is slim and toned. So like he has, when you're around 195, 200 pounds, you have to have explosiveness to you. Like you can't weigh that much, be that small, and be slow as crap. Like he looks a little slower than I'd like, and I want to see him be a little bit more elusive in space. But again, first preseason game, hopefully he starts to get. It's possible he's thinking a lot. It's possible that, like, you know, his play speed isn't up to par yet because he's thinking about the plays, he's thinking about the playbook, what to do, assignments. So that's definitely possible. And remember, guys, like when you get, especially when you get to the NFL, your play speed is what matters, not your time speed. That's why I always, when it comes to the combine, I don't care about your 40-yard dash. Okay, I care about your play speed, and your play speed is, it factors in you being able to process the play and what you're doing, combined with how you're able to perform on the field and play. So his play speed isn't up to par right now from what I've seen, but I want to see better. Like look at the difference a year made with Miles, right? Rookie year, especially early on, he bouncing everything outside, still learning the playbook. Like he wasn't making that many good plays. But later on in the year and last year when it came to strictly running the ball, he looked so much better. He looked more explosive. He had a better understanding. And how many big runs did he have? I think he was tied or led the league in big runs. So it's that play speed needs to catch up to him. And so it needs to get better. But I do hope and pray it does get better. Got to hear, trying to catch up with some of these comments. But I don't know. You guys have any other? I mean, we're into the third quarter now. During the game, I don't know. I can't even tell who's playing. I just tuned in. Oh, it just started, so we're on defense.
Yeah, I'll say defense side of football right now. Looks like Mullins is going to play the whole second half. It looks like so. Joe Flacco's night looks like to be done.
Yeah, Mullins. McPherson had just. I'm delayed, but I just saw McPherson's tackle. That's good.
Yeah, it was a good tackle. You talking about the tackle on the run play?
Yeah.
Yeah.
John Adcock says there is a lot of speed on this offense. Could be scary. I like Gainwell having some weight, sort of little power and good hands. I'll take Mr. Reliable. And that's a good thing. Remember my comment about Gainwell on that angle route he fell on. Like, I don't like that he fell on the route, but I like his contact balance after fighting through that contact, and that's what I mean. Like he's not weak, but at that weight I want him to be a little faster. But you want to see him be able to break tackles. Have that contact balance, especially when he's up against secondary players, against corners and safeties. You want him to fight off contact. John also said, we'll see last preseason game. I didn't get enough hurts to say he improved. I think that last play he got happy feet. Rager has to catch the ball and help his QB, though. Where do you guys stand on that? I know you talked about Pete, and I agree with you. Like that out route to Rager, it looked really, really weak. Like there was no drive on the ball, and that's always been the case with Hurts. He doesn't have great arm strength. But so I agree with you on that. Where are you on Rager on that play? Do you think that's a play that?
No, he still should have caught the ball because it hit him in the hands, and
he stumbled.
And he did stumble about a break. I'm not sure what's going on with his equipment or his feet. It's just the little nuances of the wide receiver position with Rager. It seems like he's still making it harder on himself than what he has to. You know what I mean? And that could also, it really has nothing to do with the throw. It's just patience. He still looks. Don't get me wrong. You have to be quick, but you have to be every step as a wide receiver, and even in and out of your break. It has to be meaningful. No wasted motion. You have to be efficient. Where a lot of times with Rager, it still looks like he's being inefficient. I said it on the Quez Watkins play. They could have hit him with a hold. They could have hit him with a hold. You know what I mean? Then you taking points off the board. You know what I mean? So, oh God, they got Dwayne Haskins. I know it's preseason, but still, it's Dwayne Haskins.
Dwayne Haskins.
So now consistency wise, it's just Rager. It's just a mixed bag. But that's why we talked about before last year. How are they practicing? Like, what we're seeing on Sundays, what are the tendencies and practices? You know what I mean? During the week. What is Rager getting? What maybe he does need some one-on-one time. Or maybe we just need to see him in a better position to win. See, like, you got to go from on a wide receiver screen that Watkins had, right? There's so many more pieces involved in that to create that play to make it successful. Right?
Yeah.
Where Rager, the position that they put him in is, listen, bitch, beat your dude. It's, you know what I mean? It still can be successful, but it's all on him. You know what I mean? He don't have the blockers out there setting him up like that. So it's hard to put it in that same light. So we can but now to be fair, we can only base our opinion off of what we see, right?
Yeah.
So if they're putting Rager in that position, then is it because they're putting him in that position because they feel like he's just a better talent, or he's a first round pick? Do you see at a point? Do we see at a point where they take him out of that position and they put Quez in that position, and then maybe Quez can't be as successful, and it really goes based on the team, all in all. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
So it's just one of those things.
The one I saw in the one reception Rager had on that out route, that was a really good route. That was a route that I had not seen him run in terms of execution all last year. Good release, pad level low, head up, break is sharp. The DB, I don't know who the DB was, probably a second stringer, so I take that in context. But from an execution standpoint, the route was really good. So, I mean, I want to see Rager do stuff like that. I need to see him be more deliberate with his routes and stuff like that. If you guys haven't seen my film breakdown of Rager, I did a film breakdown video of his performance against the Cardinals. And I spotted some inconsistencies and issues with his route running and stuff that he started to show improvement. And I liked what I saw from that route. It looked like he took what he worked on and improved on last year in that game and made it even better. So So I know everyone's so easy to pile on Rager, and I get it. But again, it's still really early.
Look at Bobby Eagle's last comment.
This one,
Yeah.
I say skip the heartache and trade Rager and a pick to get Tom. I'm not a big. Michael Thomas is a much better wide receiver right now than Rager. I'm gonna get that out of the way. Much better,
Right.
better than what Rager is right now. But I'm also not a big fan of Michael Thomas, his character
I'm
and
not
everything.
either,
So
but with this group, if you put him on this team with Devontae, Quez,
Yeah.
and Fulgham,
yeah.
it's a whole different story.
He'd have to. Okay, how much would it cost? And why would
For what they're saying now, they about to trade him to Jacksonville straight up for like their third corner.
really?
Yeah, bro, it's bad, man.
I know he wanted to be traded. I didn't hear what the. I was assuming the cost would be high. I was assuming like, okay, it's probably going to be like a second round pick, like a premium pick. I didn't know if it was low. I mean, if it would cost, if they'd be able to part with him for like a fourth round pick or lower,
right.
by all means, I'm down.
From what I heard, it's bad. Like he was on some old Ben Simmons type shit to where his surgery got delayed because he wasn't returning the team's calls for like 3 or 4 months. So, but
yeah, I heard he was.
They also said that he's not like that, and there's something there that they did to get him this way that we just haven't heard about yet.
I don't think he's going anywhere. I'll say
Sean Payton will trade your ass if you ain't doing good for the team. Oh, you gone.
Yeah, well, according to Charles Robinson from Yahoo, apparently him and Thomas and Payton both met and talked about the situation. So apparently they don't want to escalate too much further than this. There's still a possibility he gets traded, but obviously, like you said, Sean Payton's not going to deal with that. But obviously, he wants Michael Thomas to stick around for that team. They already lost their star quarterback with Drew Brees. They don't want to lose another superstar.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see. I'm not a big Thomas fan, but yeah, we'll see.
Pick.
Bobby Eagle says McPherson has shown flashes tonight. I agree. I think that even that penalty he had, I liked how he was still sticky in coverage and was active with his hands at the catch point. At the catch point, like he was too active with his hands. But I'd rather him be too active with his hands than not active enough. How many times have we had corners who don't have any ball skills? So I like it's easier, and we talked about this with J.C. Horn, right? Mm-hmm. And coaches have confirmed this. It's easier to coach a corner to be less aggressive and grabby than it is to teach a corner how to be more aggressive. Yep. So I will take that from a rookie 4th round pick in McPherson. Mm-hmm. And I liked what I saw from that play. I'm trying to think.
Well, Eagles turnover.
Yeah, I just saw interception.
Jackson didn't even see the ball. So I don't know. Yeah. I think that was just a miscommunication.
Well, Mullins he saw the blitz off the edge there, freaking
quickly. Yeah.
It's sacrilegious that Mullins is wearing number 10 too. I just want to say that. I just
blame the Eagles. Who was the one? Who was the department that issues the numbers? That's who you blame. Why do you give Nick Mullins number 10?
Well, now remember they opened up those rules so players really can pick the numbers that they want.
Yeah, you can pick whatever the hell you want anymore.
Like Slay is 2 now.
Yeah, yeah.
And Nelson's 3.
Mike McFly says, I'm not a Michael Thomas fan. Do clap for 15 minutes straight when Howie picked Rager. That is completely fair. That is completely fair. Completely fair. Again, it has to do with Michael Thomas's character, but like I said, if we could get a Michael Thomas player for cheap, I am all for it. I am absolutely all for it. Don says, who were number 10 for the Eagles? Come on, Don. Come on, Don. I really hope you're not serious with that. I hope you're not serious with that. Bill Middlebrook says in a minute they're about to trade him for a bag of chips. That would be nasty.
I'm telling you, bro. Like,
Yeah.
it ain't looking good, man. Like, it's just these teams now just don't feel like dealing with your shit, especially if you're a wide receiver, man. If you're a wide receiver, bro, it's different. Like right now, honestly, if Jamal Adams was drafted by Seattle and the shit that they going through right now, he'd be gone. But since you gave up 2 first-round picks for him, you gotta sign him. But they can't. They so far away on the literature of the contract as far as like the contract structure and the guarantees. That means y'all pretty far off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You pretty far off.
Yep. Michael Fly says Michael Thomas isn't a character issue, but thanks for not being sensitive, Chuck. I've gotten to the point where I had to take it in stride. Like I was dead wrong, and I have to live with it. But what I'm talking about with Michael Thomas is, if you remember, he started a fight with, was it Chauncey Gardner-Johnson?
Devontae Parker.
Because he called him Slant Boy. And then Michael Thomas got really oversensitive about it. And then even before that, there have been reports about Michael Thomas and him I forget what it was. It wasn't just this recent stuff with the Saints. I've heard several things about Michael Thomas where I'm like, that's a bit iffy. He's a little bit sensitive there. I mean, he's not on the level of Jalen Reagor sensitive, but we've seen I've seen and heard some pretty questionable things about him. That's why I said what I said.
So you want to go to Bobby's question real quick?
Where's Bobby's? Okay. Do you guys see us struggling tackling due to us not going to the ground in practice, or do you like saving our guys? I'm gonna let you guys go first.
I mean, I like saving our guys. I like the latter. I think, especially with Gannon, I think he kind of has a beat on what he wants to do, where he's going to put his guys at for strengths. You know what I mean? I mean, it's probably 2/3 of the guys that are on the field right now for us are not going to make the team anyway. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
it is what it is. It's nothing. We all say that like it's preseason. It's just it is what it is. But when you get into the heat of the moment and you want to win, that's the competitiveness of us of all. You know what I mean? So but no. I mean, I like saving our guys.
Well, that and also with the new CBA, I think they're only allowed to have so many padded tackling practices.
Yeah, you're right.
And so many days off. I know everyone's like, well, what about the 2-a-days that the Eagles used to have, or why are they having days off? That was the agreement between the players and the league when it came to them adding the extra game. So we get an extra game in the NFL. Now the practices leading up to game day are going to be a little bit more lax and a little bit more weaker. So it was a give and take type of thing.
Yeah. Bill does say good night. He says great show as usual. Good night to the rest of the fam. Thank you, Bill. Appreciate it. Love you again. Good night. Mikey Fly says, that's football, man. 2 fiery dudes in the heat of camp. And it is football. I mean, it is, again, but it's not just that. I wish I could go back and look up the stuff that I've read. I read several things where it made me really question how sensitive of a guy he is. Like he seems like he has too much. He seems like too much of a diva for my taste, and I've never been a big fan of the diva mentality that a lot of wide receivers have.
Comes with the position.
It does come with a position. Yeah.
Look at our childhood. Pretty much everyone was a freaking diva. You had T.O., you had Chad Johnson, you had Randy Moss. I would say they were human highlight reels, but when it came to
in a different way, though, Chad Johnson was entertainment.
He was.
Chad Johnson never got into a fight over someone that called him slant boy. He just proved them wrong. He would just be like, okay, we call this a slant, and he would beat him. You know, Steve Smith would do similar. Like someone called him slant boy, you'd beat him. Like it's a different type of thing that I'm talking about. But I get it. And let me make this straight. In no way am I saying that Michael Thomas is a bad wide receiver.
Right.
I can be not a fan of a player and still acknowledge that they're a great talent. You know what I mean? Just because I'm personally not a fan of a certain player, it doesn't mean I'm saying they suck. I'm hesitant. It's the same thing with Juju Smith-Schuster. Okay, not my cup of tea. Like all that showboating, the TikTok stuff, and all that. Oh, he's short of the goal line. Again, I'm delayed. I'm just reacting to Jalen Samuels.
I mean, it's preseason. You know what I mean? I don't want to win preseason games anyway. I don't give a shit about these. I just want to see my first unit look good, and maybe some players on the second unit that may see some time with the first unit. That's all I care about.
I want to see, but when it comes to preseason, I just want to see certain players and how they play. Like that's literally all I'll ever watch for is, hey,
and you still want some fun. You still want some pride from our guys. You don't want them just laying low or laying down for even though they know that most likely most of them are not going to make the team. So the score or the outcome doesn't matter, but you still want that pride factor from your team, especially with some of these guys that might have to step in throughout the season due to injuries or here or that.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I mean,
21 on the answer.
Yes, it's not pretty right.
That being said, damn it, 21 unanswered points.
So what do you think? Do you think that because the head coaches and the coordinators really right now they're really not showing too much? It's pretty much vanilla. I mean, so when we're going out here, it's just now like, what are we trying to see in this fourth quarter? Like, what do we want to see out of Mullins on this second drive?
I watch for the players, so I have to see who's still playing right now. I don't know who's in that I'm trying to keep an eye on. Who's been in at running back?
I haven't really been able to see.
I think it's still Gainwell.
Well, they only had the one play. So far, Steelers got the ball. Mullins turned it over on their one play, so we really haven't been able to see the offense in the second half so far for the most part.
Yeah, they scored 2 touchdowns in this quarter.
Yeah. So our third or fourth string defense is a little bit lacking at the moment.
Yeah, because you got Sean Bradley out there. He may see some time.
Sean Bradley.
And they're doing a lot of it over the middle, too. So it's a lot of what the scheme is as well.
They're picking apart whoever the hell Smith is. Whoever 53 is Smith, he had the missed open field tackle and coverage. They're picking him apart right now.
I think it's Rashad Smith.
Rashad Smith,
From Mullins after the try, I want to see how he rebounds from that interception. I want to see from a mental standpoint how he comes back out here with this offense.
Who was the left tackle that he beat on that blitz? Because that was a blitz. That was a blindside blitz. I mean, I don't ever want that guy to see meaningful time, whoever that was.
Nope. Have to watch the replay.
Is Dickerson playing tonight, or is he still hurt?
No, he's still hurt.
Yeah, he's still on the pup. Or not pup.
He's missing that play most of the preseason for the most part. Yeah, and the thing is, now with the one less preseason game, what are coaches and what are teams going to do now? So is the third preseason game going to basically be no starters, or are they going to give them a couple of series?
I think week 2. I think week 2 is the tryout. That's the new week 3. Whereas not tryout, dress rehearsal. Week 2 is the dress rehearsal, or at least that's what I looked up at, and then week 3 will be where starters will play.
So next week is critical. That's the one negative thing about having the extra 17th game right now. Right. Is now going into the season, especially for a team like us where we're monitoring what we have with Jalen Hurts. Next week, that's it. If that's the case, next week that's all we're going to be able to see from him before the start of the season. So hopefully Sirianni gives him quite a bit of playing time.
And they're going to get a true test.
Yeah, Patriots.
They're getting a true test next week.
Yeah. I never chimed in on the comment about not tackling and being concerned about that. It's a fine line because, new rules aside, if you don't practice tackling, you don't practice conditioning and all that stuff, you are going to be rusty to a degree once regular season starts. That's just nature. There's no getting around it. So I don't want to see the rust. I want to minimize that rust as much as possible. So I do want to see some tackling in practice. But at the same time, especially with this team specifically and our injury history the last few seasons, I want to see them be healthy going into week 1, first and foremost.
Yep.
That's priority. That is absolute priority, is a healthy team. So, I lean toward that. I will sacrifice tackling reps for health. It looks like Caleb Huntley's in. So I guess Scott, Gainwell, and Howard are done for the night. Huntley, I'm assuming, will be getting reps here, and then Elijah Holyfield probably in the fourth quarter or something like that for running back. But we didn't talk about this yet, so now let me get into it because we're coming up on the last 15-ish minutes of the show before we sign off. Tight end, guys. Zach Ertz is still here. We know about Goddard. Backups are Dick Rod and the youngster Tyree Jackson. So give me your thoughts. Like, we've been hearing a lot of good things about Tyree Jackson.
Yep.
And this is why I really, really want them to trade Ertz, because those are the 3 tight ends I'd like to see on my team. I'd like to see Dallas Goedert as the top guy. Mm-hmm. I'd love to see Dallas Goedert. I want to see Dick Rod obviously as a backup, but I don't want Tyree Jackson to be cut because I feel like he's someone that could be scooped up if we cut him. I feel like someone's going to take him, just like last year we cut that one tight end that played well for us, and then the Colts scooped him up.
Yeah,
I don't want that happening with Tyree Jackson. I've heard so many good things.
Parallels with Tyree Jackson, man.
And he's a great athlete. Obviously, he's a converted quarterback over to tight end. Great athlete. Look at his size. He's huge, absolutely huge. And what I've heard is that when it comes to blocking, he hasn't even been terrible at blocking.
Nope.
So he's catching everything in camp. I don't want to see him go, but are the Eagles going to keep 4 tight ends?
No.
I don't know. That's why I want them to trade Ertz.
I honestly think Rich Rod's probably the odd man out. I'll say unless they get a great deal for Zach Ertz, I honestly feel Ertz is going to be on this roster. The fact that he's getting playing time as much as he did tonight in the first 2 series with him and Goddard, he's obviously in their plans. He's obviously going to be a part of this team in their game plans for the most part. And like you said, they're not giving 4 tight ends. And Rich Rod, as much as I love him and for what he's done for this team the last couple seasons, he's 29 years old. This is a team that we're trying to get younger all around at the position. And if Goddard's the answer, he's obviously your lead guy. And then if Ertz, given one more year to show himself, he moves on after this year. And then you have Tyreek come in the fold to learn from one of the best tight ends in Eagles history this season. So obviously Tyreek has impressed the coaches enough that he got playing time with the second team offense. So as much as I love Rich Rod, honestly, I kind of just feel he's the odd man out, and you get to get younger all around, not just in certain positions.
I just love Dick Rod. I
think
love
you
how
like
solid
saying
he is.
it. That's the problem.
And yeah, that's the other reason. I love his nickname. But like, he's just a solid. He's as solid of a tight end as there is. Like, he's so unspectacular. He's not athletic. He doesn't do anything great, but he's as reliable as they come. He's caught everything, and I like him as one of our backup tight ends. So I don't want to see him go.
But the thing is, if he gets cut and you have an injury, do you see him getting picked up by another team?
Probably not.
If he's cut.
Probably not. That's a great point.
That's the thing. If he gets cut and you for some reason Goddard or Ertz gets hurt, you just bring him back. So
yeah.
I see him being available in that situation. So if that's the case, if you're worried about losing Jackson, then you have to go with him.
Yeah, I mean, I think you would want Zach Ertz to ball out in these next 3 games and possibly another tight end to go down, then you could possibly trade off of him. But I mean, I think I do see a realistic opportunity where this regime may carry forward, and that's what we have to keep saying. Like this regime, it's a different regime, it's a different thought process. You know what I mean?
I still don't know. Just for the fact that we have we're so crowded in other positions, and we think they're going to keep possibly 4 running backs. I don't see them keeping possibly 4 tight ends, and especially at the wide receiving position. If you're going to overload on one position, one of your other positions is going to be weak. And the major on the offense side of the ball, the one position that we cannot go weak on is the offensive line. So after what we saw last year, so you're going to have to go a little bit weaker on a couple of these other positions, and it's going to come down to special teams. That's where most of these depth pieces, that's where they make their living, and that's how they make their roster. So that's how we're going to see whether some of these guys that are on the bubble, how they're going to make this roster, if they're getting that special team play through these preseason games.
So Jim A in Florida has and Bobby has, like, there's 3 great questions in a row.
Yeah, which one? I was going to go to one. Which one you want to go to first?
TJ Watt asked, well, really, we won't put the Pittsburgh. I mean, TJ Watt asking for $100 million from the Pittsburgh Steelers. That means he just wants to get out of there. He knows they're not going to meet that request. They don't do that for anybody. They've never done that for anybody. That's not how that organization is built at all. Nope, not going to happen. Why he wants out, I'm not sure. Hey, shoot your shot. I'm not going to be mad at you for trying to get your money. Your earning potential and your earning years are very, very short. Your window is very short, so do what you got to do.
Yep.
That's how I see it.
Yeah, I didn't even know he was asking for $100 million.
No.
I didn't know.
And then Bobby Eagles, he says, judging tonight, where is our weaknesses per se? One game in, do you see another Howie splash? Do we make another move before the offseason? Linebackers. I mean, I still could say that. I mean, maybe. I mean, if anything, if he has a chance to upgrade the QB position, I keep trying to tell y'all guys, like,
yeah,
that's it. Outside of like a Michael Thomas S trade, or maybe adding another linebacker or upgrading the QB position, I don't think there's really any splash moves to be made.
Yeah, I don't think so either. It's all going to be just normal, like, run in the mill depth pieces being moved in and out. Right. I don't think there's any. I think our main roster, our main guys are who they are right now.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
His last question, Jeff. Did you want to answer the one before that one?
No, I agree with you guys. Unless, besides the quarterback position, we really don't even know who else is out there right now. So there's not a lot of rumors out there, guys wanting out. Besides, of course, the quarterbacks, a couple of the wide receivers like Michael Thomas. So Howie has a nature of pulling a big move for a guy that's possibly going to get cut. But honestly, right now, I feel this is the roster they're going with. Unless there's a major injury to someone over the next couple of weeks before the start of the season, I don't see him doing anything really.
Now, this question, besides Hargrave, who has shown the most growth on the D-line or O-line, no, it's hard to say first game, but have you seen something nobody's talking about? Well, I don't think nobody's not talking about it, but Chucks, Charles, who are we going to say? Wipe your sweat off. Josh motherfucking Sweat, man. I'm trying to tell you, boy, if this knee can hold up, we got a double-digit sack a year guy. I'm telling you right now.
Everyone's saying it. Even James.
But we were saying it first.
No, I know, but I'm saying, like, right now, everyone's saying, like, everyone in the media who is following the Eagles is saying 10-plus sacks from Josh Sweat. Everyone is saying it. Everyone has hopped on the Josh Sweat wagon that we are at the front of the line, or we're
the conductor, bitch.
We are pulling that wagon. We are driving it. We have been. It's crazy, and I love it. I love it. And you know what? I don't even care if people were bashing us anymore. Just get on the wagon. Just get on.
Come on board, man.
Enjoy it. We haven't had a premier pass rusher since, or who's the last one? Trent Cole? Would you say Trent Cole? On the outside, just a pass rusher. Brandon Graham is a great DN, but not He's great
I would
because
say-
he's a run blocker too.
Trent Cole. I mean, Jason Babin had that one good year. That's horrible. He's a horrible person.
Yeah, I don't want to mention him, but yeah, he did have one good year. I'm trying to
Derek
think if there's
Burgess.
anyone else I'm missing.
Burgess.
Arwen?
Yeah. Who?
Hunter
Barwin during the
Did
Chip
he have a
Kelly
one
years.
decent year?
He wasn't. I wouldn't say he was a pass rusher. You know what I mean? Like he's. Barwin was a stand-up guy in the 3-4, and he was good because he was solid. He was like, he was never like close to that elite tier though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I'm talking about like a premier pass rusher.
Yeah.
The guy who like strikes fear into like offensive tackles and quarterbacks, and they say like we gotta slide protection to that side because this guy is a monster off the edge. I don't remember anyone else since Trent Cole. Like
No.
Since Trent. Okay, you're saying since Trent Cole. No one
Yeah.
since Trent Cole.
like that's the last time I remember us having a premier pass rusher. It's Trent Cole. And I don't know if anyone. I think it's nuts. And to your point, D line growth, yes, Trent. Like it's Josh Sweat. It's Sweat season all day. We've already had some comments here about Milton Williams, so hopefully he turns out to be a good piece this year. That would be really, really awesome. Offensive line, I really want to see how Driscoll does.
So real quick, we have Bobby Eagles asking another question: who has more sacks, BG or Kerrigan? Immediately, D Nasty says BG. Listen, you are fucking sadly mistaken. Sadly mistaken. BG has. I'm gonna just make sure this is right. Career stats. Let me just go look. But what I'm seeing from the early numbers, yes, his career NFL statistics as of 2020, 59 sacks.
Well, no, I think he was asking for this season.
Well,
He says who has more sacks.
who
Okay.
has?
I thought maybe he was asking who's going to have more sacks this season, Kerrigan or BG.
If that's really what he's asking, then like Bobby, like rephrase it and let us know. But if you're legit asking who has more sacks, Kerrigan has the numbers. I don't know if he'll get in. Kerrigan has borderline Hall of Fame numbers.
He's 5 sacks away from 100. His 95 and a half.
Yeah.
So he has Brandon Graham's numbers flip-flopped.
Yeah. Brandon Graham hasn't had double-digit sacks yet, I don't think, in his career.
No, he was close last year.
Yeah, last year he had, 8.5?
Yeah. He was on his way.
He was on his way and then he slowed down. I remember us talking about it too. He was like, I forget where he got really close and there were like close to half of the games left. And I made a joke. I was like, watch, he's not going to have any more the rest of the season. And you barely did. I feel like I jinxed him. I feel like I jinxed the heck out of BG and I felt bad. But yeah, he was on pace to get 10, but he couldn't make it. He didn't make it. Don says Najee got injured.
I was just looking at that. I don't see anything as far as him being injured.
Yeah, I didn't see anything.
Yeah, I didn't see anything. About that. So hopefully not. Najee is awesome.
If he is, luckily I didn't have my fantasy league draft yet.
Yeah. Who has more sacks at the end of this season?
Yeah.
And do you see Kerrigan taking that starting position at any point in this season? That's a good question. I think that it's tough to answer because this defense is going to be so multiple.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's going to depend week to week who's going to get more snaps. The whole idea of who's going to be a starter, blah, blah, blah. I think that obviously BG is going to be the starter.
Yeah.
Right.
But depending on the offense that we face, I think Kerrigan is going to be that stand-up outside linebacker on the edge. And so if we have to face a certain offense that calls for that defense, Kerrigan's going to get a lot of snaps. And then other weeks, he might not get many. And so it all just depends. It's a tough question for me to answer.
I mean, I don't want him to start. I just want a healthy rotation. I
Yeah.
just need guys fresh. You now have, I think you have 4 DNs. You have enough to just keep them fresh.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Look, yeah, he might be labeled a starter, like Chuck said, but when it comes to this defense, no one's really a starter because they're constantly keeping guys fresh, rotating people in. Now there's going to be guys, more of the guys considered or part of that rotation. But yeah, Kerrigan, you saw last year, he was very productive with 33% of the snaps last year or something along those lines. He had the same amount of sacks as Josh Sweat did. So that's going to be the key, I feel, for Jonathan Gannon when it comes to that front four is similar to what Jim Schwartz did. Keep on the rotation going, keeping those guys fresh because that's where you're going to get the most production from these guys, especially some of these aging guys like Brandon Graham, like Ryan Kerrigan, who are getting up there in age. So that's the only way you're going to keep them fresh for the whole 17 games.
Yep, absolutely, absolutely. All right, guys, we've got a few minutes left before we have to head out. Are there any other topics you want to cover? It doesn't even have to be Eagles related. It can be, but it can be around the NFL. Anything you guys want to touch on before we head out?
Go ahead, Jeff.
I just want to get your guys a little bit of thoughts. It is Eagles related, but the fact that I'll say, do you feel it's getting a little bit overblown with this whole who is technically play calling the Eagles' offense, the offensive plays? Though when Sirianni basically said that he's calling the plays, he's giving it to Steichen, and then Steichen's giving it to Hurts. So do you feel it's a little bit overblown when it comes to the fan base and the media overblowing this right now? Because, look, I get some people's points. This could be something for a disaster. Why do they need to do that extra step? And if something gets botched or messed up, who's going to be one to get blamed? Is it going to be Steichen? Is it going to be Hurts? Is it going to be Sirianni? I just want your guys' thoughts real quick before we get out here. Do you feel that this is really needed? And as much as we've been praising Sirianni this offseason for what he's been doing in training camp, I just kind of feel this isn't a necessary move for him, especially for a first-year head coach.
Well, I don't think any of them have experience calling plays on a consistent level. Steichen
does. Steichen, he called with the Chargers.
Okay, so I mean, it's really going to depend on who's successful. I think personally, do I think it's getting overblown? We're putting too much into it. Yes, I mean, because I have no success or failures to hold them accountable to. Like, there's nothing tangible for me to really put any weight on. You know what I mean? So I really can't say. I can't. The one thing I can't say definitively to answer your question is yes, I think it's being overblown because I just don't think there's enough context there to formulate an opinion. It's not like one of these guys blew it out of the water and had the top-ranked offense. You know what I mean? It's a collaborative effort. I really don't give a shit who calls what, and as if we're putting points on the board. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Look at to answer your question real quick before I say that, I don't care because I think that I have never coached. I don't even try to act like I know to that extent the logistics of coaches and how they do plays and call plays. That's something that's beyond my knowledge. I don't know how many teams do that type of system where the play is relayed. I don't know if we would be the only ones. I don't know. But until I see that there are issues showing up in regular season because of that specifically, I don't care. I don't care if Sirianni has to relay between 10 people before it gets to Hurts. I don't care if Sirianni has to walk up to Hurts every single huddle and tell him to play directly. I don't care if Sirianni does what McVay did with Goff and told him what to do until 15 seconds before the play clock ends. Just get the play in and execute it.
And that's the one thing I'm kind of worried about, especially with a young coaching staff and a young quarterback is, are we going to see play clock issues? We saw with experienced head coaches like Andy Reid, if they're going to take their sweet old time getting the plays in or figuring out what type of play, and then to relay it from one coach to another to the player, I just feel it's an added step that I don't feel is kind of needed. I understand I agree it's being overblown. But it's one of those things where I just don't see the point. I just feel it might cause more issues than it's going to help. And if that's the case, just let Steichen call the plays then, or you just call the plays. I don't understand why it has to be that long of a process.
Right. I get it from that point. You just want some transparency so everybody can get on the same page to cause less confusion during the season. But
yeah,
I mean, we'll see. Real quick, no huddle. I will say this on record: the fucking NFC West is a juggernaut, and I feel sorry. It's the best division in football. On paper, it's just going to be a battle. I don't know whatever team wins that division. I don't see them making it past the first round because they're just so beat up. Like it's a grueling division. You look at Russ, Stafford, you got Kyler Murray, and then you also got Jimmy G in San Fran with Kyle Shanahan. Now that's who, real talk, that's who should trade for Michael Thomas. San Fran should trade for Michael Thomas, in my opinion.
That would be crazy. Like crazy in a good way. That would be
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's who I think should trade for Michael Thomas.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So, but they done a lot of moving and shaking, but we'll see.
What was
anything else?
Yeah. I just tagged you guys in the route I was talking about by Rager. I just tagged you guys in. I quote tweeted it and tagged you guys in it on Twitter. Those who are listening, if you want to go to my Twitter, Chuck Moranin, I'm sure you'll see PFF posted it, but that route. That is what I want to see out of Rager. It's such a better route. Good release. He goes inside leverage on the corner, and then pad level's good throughout. He doesn't lift, and then he uses his hands. Look at his hands at the break of the route to go through, and it's a sharp route. The corner didn't have a chance.
No.
So
he used the leverage against the corner.
Yeah. I want to see that consistently. So
Don is stupid. He says Michael Thomas should go to the Ravens since Lamar only throws the slant.
Wow.
I think we got to end it on that one, boys. That's cold. That's cold-blooded, boy.
Don with the quote of the night.
Jesus.
I can't. Well, boys. We did close to a 2-hour show. We went 1:45. We had some technical difficulties with my streaming, ladies and gentlemen. That's why we were supposed to go on 8. We would have, but freaking Xfinity had issues with the streaming app, so I had to figure out a different way to stream the game so I could live react to it with you all. But we did it. We did a close to 2-hour show, and we will be having more of these as the season goes on. So, guys, make sure you keep tuning in, and we appreciate you guys always tuning in to our show. Don, we will tell him. We'll let him know. We miss him too. He's doing well so far. But, yeah, we will give him your love. Thank you so much. Just remember, guys, keep his family in your prayers. Your thoughts and prayers. He definitely need it. All right. But, yeah, our show, we were brought to you by Manscaped. Remember, guys, after trimming your pubes, show them some sportsmanship with Manscaped's liquid formulations, the Crop Preserver Ball Deodorant, and Crop Reviver Ball Toner are the key to feeling victorious this year. Use the code for 20% off. The code is A2D. And then our doc, Paul Vidal, All Specialized Physical Therapy, LLC. Find them in Burlington and Cherry Hill. You can find all of our other sponsors, too, when it comes to Ocean City Grilled Cheese and Quesadilla Company on 8th and Ocean Ave. We also have the Counseling Center and Sunrise Detox. We've also got All Campus, 20% off there. Like we said at the top of the show, A2D memberships, $9.99 a month. Remember, you get a lot of exclusive stuff. For our apparel, go to phillydrinkers.com. Body Check Wellness. The promo code is now 25% off. So don't miss out on that. And then if you're looking to buy or sell a home, please reach out to Alan Foy of eXp Realty LLC. Gentlemen, it's been a pleasure. Jeff, it was good to have you back. Back to the three-man show. I hope you feel better and your condition gets better here on out. But it's good to have you back, bro.
Appreciate it.
All right, guys, enjoy the rest of the game. We will definitely have some interesting stuff this week. Going into next week, we'll do another live reaction of the game next week. And next week's against the Patriots, right?
Yes, sir.
That should be very interesting. Very, very interesting. But, guys, once again, fam, thanks you for tuning in. For myself, Chucks, for my boy Pete, and my boy Jeff down below. We appreciate and love you guys. Stay safe. God bless. Fly, Eagles, fly. We'll catch you.